Hi, I'm Steve Pond. We're here at the TheWrap studio at the Sundance Film Festival with a whole bunch of people from Falling. Writer-director Viggo Mortensen, and Viggo, I'll let you introduce your great cast.
Lance Henriksen, Bracken Burns, Hannah Gross, Terry Chen, Sverrir Gudnason.
So, Viggo, you've done everything except direct in your career before this. Why now for your first film as a director?
I don't know. I mean, I've written some other scripts. I tried to get finance it didn't happen. I finally just got this one put together, I guess. I've been acting for a long time and had produced a few movies before this one. And I've always been curious about how a movie's put together, all the departments, what they do. So felt like natural to want to try to have the responsibility of telling the story myself one time. Yeah.
I mean, it's a really powerful, beautiful film about the relationship between a father and son, and you dedicated it to your father and grandfather, I think.
No, to my brothers.
Oh, your brothers,
yeah,
okay.
Although one of my brothers is named after my grandfather. So
okay. But how much of this is based on your life and how much of it is fiction?
I mean, my brothers, to whom it's dedicated to, would recognize in the movie certain dynamics, a few phrases, a couple of events, but it's 99.9% fiction. But they would recognize the feelings behind it, I guess. So the foundation, the beginning, what stimulated me to write the story has a lot to do with how I feel about my parents, especially my mother, and also my father, but especially my mother. And but it's not. I mean, it's just a story I made up. But and I think it's not just my family that influenced me. It also influenced me what I feel like is happening in our society now in recent years. The polarization, the inability for that people have, or unwillingness to communicate, and how do you deal with what you see and hear in this movie? Hateful behavior, hateful language, misogyny, racism, homophobia. I mean, these things come up, and do you fight back? Yeah, but there are ways to do it. If you stoop to the same level and you get into it, punching it out or screaming at each other, that's not going to work. I mean, but you have to find a way to say that's not okay, and just insist on that. And even if that seems a weak way to do it, in the long run, that's the way. Do it by example, And I was thinking as I was writing the script about our country a lot too. How people, even within families, are polarized. They voted for so-and-so, or the other one refused to, and so they can't talk all of a sudden now. Well, eventually you're going to have to, I think.
Yeah. Well, Lance, Viggo just gave us a list of bad things, racism, homophobia. They all come out of your mouth over the course of this
Yes, they do.
film.
And it actually hurts when I had to say those things. No. That hurts. No, really, inevitably, all of that pain that's coming out through that language and through that point of view and all of that is because somebody knows the cards are shuffling. You don't know what to be anymore. You don't know. All I know is my farm and my horses, and that world is the only safe place I've got. And then I can be, in a moment of clarity, I could be talked into going to California. Yeah, I'll go. And we get on the airplane. I go, what am I doing here? What is going on? And it's like, it's a phenomenal. I don't think I'll get invited to a whole lot of parties. You know what I mean? And so I have to pay for everything that I do in my life, and have to all along. I end up living alone on a ranch in the middle of winter, and I got a son that comes to rescue me. My wives are all dead. I didn't mean to put it so brutal, but it's true. And I don't know, I think it's a difference in generation, and the world is changing, and he can't keep up with that. I don't know why to call somebody them and they. How would he know that? he came from the Second World War era, or even further, maybe back in back in the Depression era, where people were just struggling to stay alive. Mm-hmm. And what does he know about a homeless? I mean, you see them, but what do I do about it? He doesn't know what to do. He's closer to the back door than the front door. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But I'm still responsible.